Have you noticed that the topic of good leadership has come under scrutiny over the past decade? And do you realize that leadership skills are constantly evolving? And you've probably noticed that what your team requires of you to feel motivated and inspired has also shifted. Well, by the end of this video, you're going to walk away with the 7 steps to reboot your leadership skills for 2020. If you're new to my channel, I'm Judi Glova, and for the past 15 years, I've been an executive coach and expert in intuitive leadership. If you want to continue to get intuitive leadership skills, all you need to do is hit the button down below to subscribe, as well as the notification bell. This new decade requires new skills, so let's get started right now. Number 1 is mindfulness, and I would include meditation. And here's the thing, most of your team, as well as your clients, they expect you to be present, be in the moment and focused. But if you don't have a well-trained mind, it's really hard to do that. Meditation helps you get there. So I'm going to teach you a really quick meditation. It takes 3 minutes and you're going to be able to do it really quick, and it'll help you whether you're feeling really anxious and wound up or if you're feeling really drained. So basically, it's a breathing meditation, and if you want to feel more energy, what you're going to do is you're going to close your left nostril and breathe through the right side. You're going to do that for 3 minutes. Now, if you need to calm down because you're really wired up, you'll close your right nostril and breathe through your left. After 3 minutes, you'll feel more centered and balanced and focused. So, that's all you have to do in order to reboot for your mindfulness and meditation. Number 2 is intentional action, and it's equal parts clarity as well as walking your talk. And this was something that actually I learned from my first administrative assistant, and she was awesome. And she always said to me, Judi, let's start with the end in mind. What does success look like? That way, I was so intentional with my actions. Everything was focused on that picture of success. And you can do that too. That way, not only are you focused, but everyone else that you can communicate to is going to know what that picture of success is. Alignment and motivation and connection are going to come really easily. Number 3 is compassion and empathy. And I read a really cool article not too long ago about Google. And Google was looking to see what created the perfect team. And they noticed some behaviors, some key differentiators. And one key differentiator behavior was about these teams that had the sense of social compassion or empathy. So that way they saw that these teams cared about whether or not each person had a chance to share information, whether or not it was a safe space, and as well as people feeling respected and heard. So 2 things that you can do to create that safe space in your team is you can make sure that you minimize people interrupting one another and increase how people are actively listening. Number 4 is transparency. And I'm not talking about giving away company secrets or giving away confidential information that's not okay to share. What I am talking about though is if you think of those times when you give a good direction to your team and they seem to be spinning around in circles, that's a symptom that they really aren't connected to the outcome. And the transparency comes in is where you give them a connection to the big why. Why are they doing this activity? Why are they involved in this project? Because people feel motivated, inspired when they're connected to something bigger than themselves. So if you can give them the purpose, the big why, how is this going to impact not only the business, but the clients, as well as other people beyond, it really helps people get bought in and enrolled into the activities. So transparency actually creates enthusiasm and buy-in. Number 5 is diversity and inclusion. Now, I realize this is a really big topic, and I also want to acknowledge I'm a white woman. I need to make sure that I am sensitive, and I am also committed to constantly learning and becoming more conscious and self-aware. So with that said, one of the things that I see as a behavior that I've committed to is really being able to facilitate conversation. And as a leader, the more you're able to draw people into conversation, you're not leaving other people out, because diversity also means diversity of thought, right? How can you make sure that, the extroverts as well as the introverts are contributing? And here's something I know from just looking at behavior. We have extroverts, and extroverts love to think out loud. So sometimes they're the first ones that speak. And it's great because their energy really energizes the room. But sometimes the introverts are kind of left behind. So one of the things that you can do to help facilitate an effective meeting where there's a lot of engagement is, give people a heads up. Maybe it's a day, maybe it's a half an hour, maybe it's 10 minutes before the meeting. But let people know what it is that you want to accomplish during a meeting. That way it gives time to the introverts to kind of mull things over a little bit so they can come prepared to the meeting and to be engaged. Number 6 is impact feedback. And not only have I been an executive coach for 15 years, but I've also been adjunct faculty at the Center for Creative Leadership. And we do workshops all around the world. And so often, I would say 90% of the time, when we ask participants, do you get enough feedback from your bosses, from your clients? The answer is no. But here's the thing that I really want to point out. What they're saying is that they may be getting some feedback, but it's not the quality of the feedback that they need. Because the two things that make a powerful piece of feedback is that it is behavioral and it gives a consequence. So what it sounds like is that if it was a positive thing, you would say, oh my gosh, in the meeting this morning, you asked an amazing question. As a result, we heard things from the client we never even heard before. We didn't even know about these things. So that would be a positive example. A developmental opportunity could be that you were in the meeting this morning and you interrupted the client several times. And the impact on her was she totally shut down, and I got a phone call after the meeting. So those are two quick examples that you can understand when you're giving the specific behavior as well as the consequence. It really helps people understand very specifically what they did, what you want them to continue to do, or what you want them to stop doing. Number 7 is self-care and community care. And here's one thing I know. I know that you probably have multiple chargers for your phone and your computer, but when it comes to your own energy battery, chances are it gets neglected. How are you taking care of yourself? How are you getting the foods that you need to have, the sleep and the exercise? And when it comes to community care, we know from research that people are more engaged when they feel that sense of cohesion. And to give you an example, I had someone on my team a few years ago. Her parents' home got hit by a flood when there was a huge hurricane, and I started a GoFundMe page just so that we could be a part of that solution to help her parents get back on their feet and help them clean out their home. And what was really awesome is that everybody on the team really felt engaged and really felt that there was this sense of care, this sense of community. And in the long run, it shows people that you just don't talk about caring about them, but you actually are willing to take action to show people that you're willing to go the extra mile for them. So if you're working on your leadership skills for 2020, good for you. I'm so excited for you. And I want to give you the opportunity to go to my website, judiglova.com, and take the free leadership assessment. That way you'll get your customized report and you'll be able to see what your blind spots are so that you can be aware of them, and learn what your strengths are so that you can leverage them. I look forward to seeing you again for more intuitive leadership skills. Bye for now.